Welcome back to the Orangeville Home Prices Report. My name is David Waters, and I hope you just had an amazing family day long weekend. I know I did. It was always nice to spend time with family. My business can get a little busy, a little crazy, but there are times in the year where it slows down enough just so I can see my family. So this weekend was it was awesome. Really had a good time. So hopefully you had a great time as well. Today we're going to go through our home prices report for the month of February. A few changes. It's interesting to see what's going on. So we're going to dive into the numbers. So let's go take a look, all right? So let's dive into the report here. And for anyone who is seeing this for the first time, welcome to our home prices report in Orangeville. Now this report, basically take it with a grain of salt because everyone's house is going to be different. This is just basically on average what's going on in the Orangeville marketplace. So if you're wanting to know more about your property, you can just reach out. I'll be more than happy to come on over and go through things with you. You can also ask for a pinpoint price analysis, and there's many other things that you can ask for, and which we'll talk about kind of further down. But you're here to find out what's going on in the big picture. So this past month in January, we had 26 sales. 40 new listings came up, and so it was about 72% sales to new listing ratio, which is not bad for January. It's a fairly good number. Now we've got 35 active listings, and that will shift from day to day. Obviously, by the time you're watching this, it could be shifted again. And then in here, I talk about a buyer's market and a seller's market and what that means with these ratios. So you can see that less than a 20 to 25% sales to new listing ratio that's a buyer's market, and anything above 50 to 60 and up is more of a seller's market. Okay. Now, last month, the average price was basically $600,000. And so because this is kind of our first year, we haven't finished February yet. So we only have 1 month under our belt. So basically $600,000, median price, 611. Average days on market is about 24, and sales to list price is basically 99%. So if you list your house, more often you'll get pretty close to what you're asking. Days on market, that's been shifting over the last number of years. 2009 was way, way, way up, and then we've slowly come down. Now, I'm going to show you something here that you may not, most people don't realize this. When a house gets listed and it doesn't sell, if it gets listed again, the system only counts the days on market for that listing period. It doesn't take into consideration how many times it's been listed and everything else. And I can understand why it hasn't been done, because every single real estate agent is different in how they approach things. Some people will overprice properties, hoping to get a listing. Others will list it below market value and try to sell it really fast. And then there's some that list it at market value and get market value, and time on market will be justified for that. Everybody is going to be different in how things are done. So that's why it's only really been on a per listing basis. However, I'm going to show you something here that nobody really, well, I'm going to say nobody. I know because I'm a realtor and this is in our system, but there's a lot of agents that don't know any of this. What this is this is a report on the summary of transactions in January in all of the TREB areas, right? That's the Toronto Real Estate Board areas. And that's the area that Orangeville is part of. Now, one thing that you'll notice is we've got different columns, different prices, and all that kind of jazz, right? All that's there. It even talks about inventory trends. However, all that's good stuff. The thing that I wanted to point out to you is the listing right here. Listing days on market, okay? That there for Orangeville, if we go down, is 24 days, okay? Right there. However, there is a new column over here that they've just put in, and it's called property days on market. And that takes into consideration other properties that have had a price adjustment done, that has been taken off the market and then relisted right away, things like that. Okay. And so that amount of days is 34. So there's a 10 days difference between the two. So I think that's a fairly good indication as to what's been going on, because if you get a listing, or if I see what's going on, and I'm going to take, for example, I'm going to look over here in Milton, right? Milton's got 19 days on market, but average days on market, or sorry, the property days on market is 27. Okay. So there's a spread between that as well. However, now, if you look down in York region, this may kind of showcase a little bit more. And let me just look, see, that includes King. Okay. So this is interesting. So you have Aurora, you have King, you have Markham, Newmarket, Richmond Hill, Vaughan. You've got these fairly expensive areas. Now, if you take a look at King City, there's 46 days on market. However, it's 95 days for the property day on market. So they're doing a lot of relisting, right? And so that's a big discrepancy between the two of them, guys. That's huge, right? And you may see that with richer neighborhoods, things like that. So just it's interesting. So that's property days on market is more of an indication of as to what's kind of going on. Is there a lot of relistings? Are there properties that are just kind of selling, first time round, and it moves fairly quick? If we look through the list, and I'm trying to look at one where those two are fairly closely matched. And I think the closest one that I've been able to find, so Brampton is fairly close, right? It's 21 days and then it's 26 days, right? So there's only 5-day difference between that. So what that tells me is that's a really, really fast moving market. Things don't stick around long. They're selling and they're not being relisted. They're just being sold and that's it, right? Plain and simple. So you can always ask your realtor what those numbers are and they can tell you, or you could just come back, report, and we can go through things together. So let's go back to the report here. Take a look, come down, new listings compared to sales in Orangeville. That's going to be low right now, only because, again, we don't have a lot of data for the year. So things are just kind of are what they are. Not much really to talk about. But here's the thing, not every property that gets listed is sold. And this is a chart that kind of talks about that over the last decade as to where things have been. Now, I always find this one interesting when I look at it, because this is the average sale price in the GTA, which includes Orangeville. And I look at the numbers. Now, the last number of years has been a real big mess, right? So, starting in 2007, 2008, 2009, that first beginning of the year, it's really just a big, 2007 just went crazy, but it came back down, back to normal levels, but then it tailed off. Last year, this purple line, we ended it fairly solid, right? You can see there's a big gap. Now, one of the things that happened in 2008 is we didn't have a lot of sales. Like sales were really, I think it was like a decade low amount of sales. I think it was like 78,000 homes that sold in 2008. Now, we've been kind of going up over year, and 2006, 2007, 2005, we were all in the $110,000, $120,000, $130,000 homes kind of selling. There was a lot selling, which is why we kind of tailed off at the end of the year. There was just no more inventory. But again, you look at the spread between the two, interesting, right? To see how we're starting off this year, right? Here we are on the green line. And I put in the numbers just so you can kind of see, right? So we tailed off last year, 837,000 basically. And we're starting this year in the first month at 839,000. So what the next few months have in store for us, Don't really know. Unless we see more inventory, prices are only going to go up. It's just the way it is. A lot of people have been sitting on the sidelines for a while, and because of that, prices have been just slowly going up and up and up. And I crunched some numbers today, and it was very interesting. And I'm going to do a separate video on this that talks about if you bought a house 10 years ago in Orangeville, what would it be worth today, and how much money would you have recognized from that versus if you rented for 10 years? So it's an interesting topic. So I'm going to do a video on that, and I'm going to show you all about it, okay? However, we're going to continue on with our report here. Really nothing much to talk about condo townhouses, right? We only had 3 new listings, no sales for the month, really kind of quiet. Condo apartments, we saw a little bit of a pickup in the new year. So we had 2, right? 3 new listings, only 67% of them. There was only 2 of them that sold. 23 days on market, 383,000. So again, fairly in line where things were at before the end of the year. Freehold townhouses, really nothing to support. Oh, should have taken those numbers out because there was no sales. Anyways, semi-detached. We had 5 sales, so very, very strong, right? 4 new listings, 100% selling. They were getting what they were asking, and really the days on market is the lowest it's been since September of last year. So very, very healthy market if you've got a semi-detached house. And prices $500,000 in Orangeville there. Detached. Orangeville basically has tons of detached homes, which is no surprising why we see a lot come in this kind of bucket here. But 19 sales in January, 27 new listings, 71% selling, which is pretty good for January. 649,000, basically 648,000, 27 days on market. So very, very healthy, right? The days on market has come down. But we all know that these numbers are going to be a little bit higher based on properties, right? So it's just something to consider as to what's been going on. However, anyways, that is our last one, everybody. If you want to sell your house for top dollar fast, I got a great ebook that'll help with that. If you're interested, you can just reach out. You can text me. You can call me. You can SOS me. I'll get it to you, okay? There's also a room by room review, which is where I can come on over and I can give you detailed as to things to do, things not to do. Don't waste your money on certain things. That's I can also provide. Anyways, my name's David. Hopefully you enjoyed the report, and until next month, stay healthy, stay safe, and we'll see you then. Bye.